Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz and today we're having a quick look at the best cards for cEDH from the new Universes Beyond Avatar: The Last Airbender set. But first, this video is sponsored by Ultimate Guard, the best in premium gaming accessories, as well as Card Conduit, the easiest way to sell your Magic the Gathering cards. Use my code Eisenherz for 10% off. And of course Dude Loot, your go-to place for Japanese foils and rare cEDH bling. Now, without further ado, let's get started, and as always, cards are in alphabetical order. Number 1. Badgermole Cub. This 2-mana 2/2 creature has Earthbend 1, which means that it turns target land you control into a 0/0 creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. This effect is already really interesting for decks that care about creatures and or counters, such as Cradlestorm lists or Tayam. More importantly though, the Badgermole Cub also makes it that whenever a creature is tapped for mana, you add an additional green mana, which is an incredible mana boost because it buffs all of your mana dogs and works especially well with Enduring Vitality. So yeah, this little cup is an absolute powerhouse, and finally a card that makes green a little bit more viable in cEDH. Number 2. Redirect Lightning. This 1-mana red instant costs either 5 additional life to cast or 2 additional colorless mana, which means that in cEDH it is usually a 1-mana 5-life spell. The card is incredibly close to Deflecting Spot, and although the difference between free interaction and 1-mana interaction can be infinitely large, this spell is another highly potent piece of interaction for any red-based decks like Rock Thras, Roxai, TNK and Magda. Number 3. Storm of Memories. This 5-mana sorcery has Storm, which we all know is the most broken mechanic in MTG, and it allows you to exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard at random. Then you may cast that spell without paying its mana cost. Although Storm of Memories is a sorcery, the spells that you exile aren't timing restricted, so you can cast sorceries at instant speed this way. The randomness and limitation to mana value 3 or less seems mid, but I suspect this to pull a decent amount of weight in highly proactive decks that basically only play gas. If you use a single tutor and a few ramp pieces to get this out, you will most likely be able to create a large storm count and reuse all of your ramp and tutor spells from your graveyard. In a sense, this card reminds me a bit of Mind's Desire, as the effect is also random, but much less limited of course. I think this card might end up seeing some play in highly proactive Rakdos, Mardu and or Izzet lists such as Krark Sakshima. Number 4. The Cabbage Merchant. This 3-mana 2/2 human citizen is one of the best mid-range value engines ever printed for green. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, the Cabbage Merchant creates a food token, and when you tap 2 untapped food tokens, you can add 1 mana of any color. However, whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, you have to sacrifice a food token. We all know that cheap, passive engines that punish opponents' game actions by creating mana or card advantage for you are incredibly broken in cEDH, and this card is some kind of mixture between Mystic Remora and Smothering Tithe. The fact that you need to sacrifice food tokens on combat damage is more or less irrelevant, and the few times I saw the merchant in play, it already pulled a ton of weight. You also don't have to sacrifice your food tokens, so you can use them once and then again if you're able to untap your stuff with something like Seedborn Muse. So this is another incredibly strong piece for green-based decks and yet another trigger-heavy mid-range value engine for cEDH. I will definitely be using my clone effects on this Cabbage head a lot. Number 5. Wan Shi Tong, Librarian. This bird spirit costs 2 blue mana plus X, is a 1/1, has Flash, Flying and Vigilance, and reads: when Wan Shi Tong enters, put X +1/+1 counters on it, then draw half X cards, rounded down, and whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on Wan Shi Tong and draw a card. This card is by far my absolute favorite from the whole set. It is basically a better version of Archivist of Ogma because it can be an infinite mana outlet to draw the deck. It is both flying and vigilant, it draws cards and at the same time grows, which makes it highly resilient against Orc Bowmasters, and it fits so nicely in mono blue decks. This is true power creep, and it will most likely see play in the 99 of many decks. I will certainly be playing it in Urza. And that's my top 5 from Universes Beyond Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I do have a few honorable mentions. Day of the Black Sun, a great mass removal spell. Foggy Swamp Visions, an interesting graveyard hate piece and reanimation spell. Mai, Sornful Striker, an incredibly potent hate piece against stormy decks. Sozin's Comet, an incredibly potent ritual effect for creature-heavy decks. And the Mechanist Aerial Artisan, a great value engine for artifact-centric decks. Personally, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender and think this is one of the Universes Beyond collaborations that fit very nicely into the MTG universe. So what do you think about this new Universes Beyond set, and what are your top picks? Please let me know in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching my videos. If you enjoy my content, please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and become a patron. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.